Hello YouTube, I'm here with another video on how to play Skystriker. We'll see how long this video might be. I think it's going to be probably pretty long because it's going to be a very comprehensive guide on how to play Skystriker, at least the Master Duel way. So, let's start off with the first deck core. So here are all the basic cores that make up the basic cards that make up the deck. First, we have Ray. I'll briefly go over the cards, what they will do. I won't read the effect. If you want to read the effect, you can look up the card or look in the description below for a very in-depth written guide of it. But so we'll start with Ray. Ray has a quick effect where she can contribute herself to special summon one of these Sky Strikers. And if one of your Sky Striker monsters happens to die, they'll float into Ray. So pretty good utility card, great monster. Remember that you can double dip with Ray by summoning her, enter battle, tribute a quick effect, summon like Hayato usually, attack again, and you'll get 3k damage. Alright, cool. Now we'll go to Rose. Rose is kind of like a worse version of Ray. Some people run 3, some people run 2, some people run 3. I run 3 because I almost never happen to draw a monster, and if you can't draw a monster, you can't play, right? So her effect basically is that she's able to be special summoned if you summon another Sky Striker monster. So that includes Ray and then these things. Usually, what you do with her is probably summon her and like a Ray and try to make like a Zeke or something to banish something problematic that your opponent has. But other than that, link climbing. She also has a very important graveyard effect that's really good in the mirror because it can target the Ray. Well, what's gonna happen is you'll afterburner their extra monster. They're gonna summon Ray from grave. You'll summon Rose. You negate their effect. Not sure if it works in Master Duel yet, but in real life and other stuff it comes up sometimes. Other than that, she's a pretty good card. People are very divisive, but I run 3. You can get away with run, it's fine. Next are the spells. Engage. I don't think I need to say much about Engage except it's really good. It is a pot of greed that is basically better because it searches one card. That's basically it. I mean, it's good here because in Master Duel format it's at 2, CCG land it's only at 1, but we have 3 Kawaii, so it's I don't know. Next we have Afterburner and Jamming Waves, which are your utility cards. This one destroys monsters, and then this one destroys spells, traps, sets spells and traps, and they both have the bonus effect where this one will destroy a spell and this one will destroy a monster, and keep in mind they do not target, so be aware of that. Like you can set like one of your spells or something, Jamming Waves, and then destroy like something untargetable, whatever. And next you got the really kind of bad Sky Striker cards. You almost never want to play them. Here's Vector Blast. It has some weird like Foolish Burial effect, and I know they're trying to make it where you send like the top 2 cards, and with this you'll count for the 3 spell activation minimum for all the spells. But like why would you want to send Engage to grave? How are you gonna get it back, right? The only practical application I could think of this is like back then in the day when it was like Orcust and Dragon Link, where you can have like a U-Link board where your opponent basically takes both of the extra monster zones. That's one way to clear it out, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime in Master Duel. So we'll move on from here. We have Scissors Cross. Again, it's kind of like a add a Sky Striker ace from your graveyard, add it back to your hand. It's like, why would you ever want to do that? You're running 3 of this already. You might be running 1 or 3 of that. You're probably already gonna have a Ray or a name in your hand. There's no reason to play this unless I guess they come up with a broken level 4 Sky Striker where there's like a effect or something where special summon from grave. Like if you special summon this from your grave, like you draw Engage. I don't know. Otherwise, you would never want to play it. Mech Armory is kind of interesting. I know back then in TCG days, what will happen is that since Engage was banned and like or engage was at 1, I think. This was at 1, so that's one way you can recycle Kagari. But Master Duel format, I don't know. You have 2 engage, you have 1 Kagari. I think 2 engage is fine. Like, you don't need to spam Kagari to win. So I don't. I mean, it's all right because you can make double attacks on monsters, but then you can't attack directly, right? And most of the time you'll be clearing the board, your opponent's board anyways, so like this, or this, right? Or access code. So it's like, do you really need it? Plus the effect about if it's sent to the grave by card effect, so it doesn't mean you can just attach it to like your Hayate and then special summon like something else and it'll proc the effect. That's not how it works, right? And plus the Pot of Avarice effect. Like, why won't you just play Pot of Avarice, right? That's way more generic, and it's not that great. You can play 1, I just wouldn't. And next we have multi-roll. Multi-roll is so good, especially at 3, but I feel like 3 is maybe too much. Basically what it does is it makes sure all of your spells, not just skystriker cards, all of them things will go through. So you can't ask people can't ask this, people can't ask your Pot of Desires or Pot of whatever if you're playing it. It just basically is a way to force your opponent to respond, right? If they don't get rid of this, you're gonna probably pop off and like destroy their board. Also, another pro tip is that most of the time you want to probably activate this first to get like the Ghost Ogre and the Gate or like MST out of the way, so you can basically bait out people with this card. Okay. Also, I should probably mention that in Master Duel, for some reason, there's like a weird bug. It's called the Shizuku Shuffle, where basically you would summon Shizuku, you would search for Widow Anchor, and if you have a activated multi-roll on the field, you can't like search her, activate, and then multi-roll. Multi-roll will always proc first for some reason, and then you can't set Widow Anchor. So keep that in mind. The only way I know you can get around this is if you activate multi-roll but no other skystriker spells. You'll be able to do that, but keep that in mind. Next we have Hornet Drones. Summon a monster. It's a starter. Not much to really say there, except it's a quick way to make a Link 2. Targets probably would be like Nightmare Phoenix. Let me just check real quick. Like Nightmare Phoenix, which is 2 monsters with different names. Token's a different name from a Kagari. So that's one way to out Imperial Order or other problematic, trap cards or whatever. You want to clear out the trap? Cool. Next we have Widow Anchor. Widow Anchor is like, mind control, but like on crack. It negates the effect, right? It also takes control of the monsters. Be very careful and be very aware of how and when to take the monsters. Sometimes you have like people who just like decided they know you have Widow Anchor, so they're gonna bait you out. Another thing is, remember that you can use this offensively as well. Like if you're in your turn and it's battle phase at 1 monster, just take the monster, attack them with their own monster, and then like link it off to make Zeke or whatever, something else. Just be aware of that, okay? And it's also great in a mirror match because it says at the end phase. So what you would do is, if you're playing against a skystriker player, at their end phase, take their monster in the extra monster zone, and then when you have to get back control, it's going to be in the main monster zone, and it's going to shut off all of their traps and spells. So keep that in mind. All right, now we have Ego Booster. Ego Booster is kind of like your protection card. Most of the time you just play 1 to make sure like your Kagari or whatever monster you have, like access code, for example, protects them, guarantees their effects go off. That's about it. And then finally we have Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon is also another powerful spell where it banishes a lot of things. Like for example, it can banish your opponent's Eldritch. I think that's probably a big target. You can banish the opponent's Ray. And also you can special summon like their own monster. So for example, if everybody's playing Ash Blossoms, you can special summon your Ash, their Ash, sorry, and then you'll make like what's it called, Crystalline Needle Fiber or Halka Fibrex, whatever it's called. You summon that and you basically pop off. So this is pretty good, pretty good. Alright, then we'll quickly talk about the extra deck monsters. It's Kagari, add a Skystriker card from your graveyard. Pretty self-explanatory. Another pro tip is that since it's only a 1, you might want to summon her maybe in the battle phase, so you can avoid stuff like Veiler and possibly Impermanence if it's like, you know, they're already set up. That's one way you can get around it. And then one more thing is that in the Skystriker mirror, you always want to use Ray's tribute effect to special summon her as much as you can, because she can only be summoned by a proper link summon, if that makes sense. So that means your opponent can't just Shark Cannon you, summon your Kagari, and then get an extra engage. It's like having, you know, 2 for the price of 1. So be aware of that. Next we have Shizuku. She's gonna search for a Skystriker spell. Usually you'll be searching this thing, right? She also has like the 100 attack defense thing. Sometimes that comes up, sometimes, because especially like in the grind game, you're gonna eventually, you know, have like a bunch of spells and stuff in your graveyard anyways. Next we have is Hayate. Hayate attacks directly. She also sends a Skystriker card, so not just spell. You can send monsters from your deck to your grave, and it's probably the most important one in my opinion, because that's a quick way to fill up spells or send a ray into your graveyard. Usually you'll send something like, you know, Area 0. I don't even have Area 0. Oops. Area 0. You send like an Area 0, or you send a, you know, Ego Booster, or even one of these things, something like, you know, useless to fill up your grave, and that's about it. Or even if you have like multi-roll up, you can send like your Widow Anchor, so you can set that, you know, things like that. But remember, never ever send engage to graveyard. Your opponent is gonna, like, you know, Veiler you, Impermanence you, do so many disruption when you summon. You get greedy and try to Kagari it, and also just it's gonna be banished or something like DD Curl. Things can go wrong. Don't do it. Not worth it. And I'll just quickly mention this. Area 0. Area 0 is the field spell. Has effect where if it goes to grave, you can summon a Ray, or you can summon a Rose. Also, it has like a pot of duality like effect, where you can add a Skystriker card from your deck to your hand. What else? One more thing is that the first effect of targeting the card, it doesn't necessarily even have to be on field for it to resolve. So what you could do is you would activate Area 0, target your Ray, use Ray's quick effect to tribute herself, and the effect still goes through, right? I would not play too many of these, probably 2 at max, but you know, there's an argument for 3 if you run like a bunch of these spells. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Go back to the extra deck. Now we have a Kaina. Kaina is gonna, you know, stop your opponent from OTKing you. It has the 100 life point increase thing. I don't think that's really applicable here in Master Duel when there's no, you know, no siding. It's best of 1. In TCG land, you would cheese your opponent by like going up on them in time. It's one way, but you know, she's less, I think, more impactful in Master Duel. And finally, you have Zeke. Zeke is going to basically banish one face-up monster your opponent controls. So a thing to keep in mind is you can summon Zeke with these 2. Summon Zeke, banish something in the extra monster zone, and then it's going to proc Rose's effect. Then you can climb up to like a Link 3 or something. Alright, and now I'll probably move on to a deck list. Alright, now we're back with my deck list that I used to hit Plat 5. Keep in mind, this is also a work in progress. In the replays, you might see some changes, you know, see how it goes. But I'll quickly go over the deck list. We have 3 Effect Reeler, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, of course, 3 Ray, 3 Rose, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Terraforming, 3 Pot of Desires, 2 Engage, 2 Afterburner, 1 Jamming Wave, 2 Area 0, 1 Module, 2 Enemy Controller, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Hornet, 2 Widow, 1 Ego Booster, 2 Shark Cannon, 2 Imperm. Now extra deck we have 1 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, 3 Hayate, 1 Kaina, 1 Kriston Needle Fiber, Hauka Fibrax, whatever, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 2 Zeke, 1 Unicorn, 1 Celine Queen of the Masters, and of course 1 Access Code. I'll briefly talk about my deck choices, why I decided to play the cards I did. I think hand trap lineup is pretty solid. Maxi at 3 is pretty good, pretty broken, pretty fun. Terraforming, you know, to search this. Pot Desires. I know there's an argument over Pot of Desires, Upstart, Chicken Game, all those fun cards. But honestly, play Desires, people. It's not that scary. I know the Banish 10 thing, you Duel Links people, or people getting right back into the game, seems very, 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 very scary. But, you know, smarter people have calculated the probability of banishing your, let's say, one-off copies. So stuff like, let's say, Hornet Drones, this, your Reinforcement, you know, Eagle Booster, your one-offs, multi-roll. The odds of that happening is like, you know, 28.6%. Now, theoretically, let's say you have 30 cards in your deck, and then you activate Desires. The chance of that happening goes up to 33%, so like 1 in 30, right? But you're almost never going to use Pot of Desires like as the first activation. Does that make sense? Unless like you're desperate. You're probably gonna like search your engages, search your Widow Anchors, right? Search this, do all your searching first before you activate Pot of Desires, right? And to think of it in like a practical application, say you have 2 copies of a card in your deck, right? So like your Widow Anchor, your power cards, your Widows, your engages, the chance of banishing both of them are like 7.6%, right? 7.6%. That's less than 10%, man. I think that's pretty good statistically. You're probably gonna have at least one of these in your deck if you use Pot of Desires, right? And that's not saying you banish both of them. You just banish one, right? So it's very, very low, gang. And to be honest, you can probably still win with just 1 Widow, 1 Engage. I know, because that happened in TCG land. And then for the stat for banishing all 3 copies, so like your 3 of this, 3 of that, all those 3 of cards, right? It's 1.8%, guys. 1.8%. So that's just the stats. I'll put a link in the description to show the math. Smarter people have figured it out. It's very good to get the +1, especially in a deck where Skystriker, where every card matters. You know what I mean? Plus Upstart, it gives your opponent like 1,000 life points. I say for other decks it doesn't really matter, but for Skystriker, where you're not really gonna OTK people, I think that's gonna come up, right? And plus, you know, Upstart's like a mulligan. You're just gonna do that, get like a different card. I'd rather get the extra card because of Pot of Desires. And then people have arguments for Pot of Prosperity. I know. Pot of Prosperity, if you don't know what that does. Pot of Prosperity, here you go. Banish 3 or 6 to basically add a card. You know, Skystrikers kind of need their extra deck. I think every monster is pretty important, or at least I go through them. I think this would only be good if there's like a siding, or if Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer comes out. Because if you have Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, it's not going to matter what else is in your extra deck if that's on the field. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a card that's very, very broken. I'll probably put a picture or something like that just for you guys to see. And here it is. Okay. And then talking about deck choices. Yes. Oh, right. Chicken Game. Yeah, that's another card that always comes up. Chicken Game. Let's look that up. Chicken Game. Chicken Game, either you draw a card or destroy your card, but your opponent can activate it. You know, I don't like any card that gives my opponent potentially an advantage, right? Let's say you're playing against combo, they draw that one card that's gonna screw you, right? You know what I mean? I would personally not play it. Avarice, I think it's okay too. Avarice is okay too. So like Pot of Avarice, I think that's fine too, right? Target 5, so you go through a bunch of hand traps, send it back to your hand, recycle Kagari. I think that's fine, but I don't think, you know, again, you don't really need it. So those are things, discussions about your draw cards. Otherwise, I play 2 Afterburn because I think there's a lot of monsters. I don't think people run too much back row, so that's why there's only 1 jamming wave. Enemy controller is kind of like a spicy tech, more personal preference. Maybe Duel Links Nostalgia, where you can tribute like your own monster and then take control of their monster. I think it's pretty good in the mirror match. This probably be a flex spot. I might change that. I don't know. That's about it I have to say about that. Counter Cyclones for skill drain, Imperial Order. I know you have a way to out Imperial Order with this, but I'd rather have other options just in case. And impermanence, if I could run 3 I would, but I'm fine with 40 cards. And then you have the regular access code package. That's about it. And would I make any changes? Probably these 2. Something else. Might take out. Might change this to 2 maybe. But otherwise, I think 3 rows is fine. I almost always lose if I can't find this, or that. And you don't have any monsters, you're gonna get screwed. And so now I believe this is the part where I will go on to look at other random tech cards that you may or may not know. And now I'm back with other random cards you probably should be aware of. I'll go over them really quickly. Toon Cyber Dragon plus Toon Table Content. It's a good way to dump spells into your graveyard, but I don't think it's really that good at the moment because you don't really need to Chimera Tech. Let's see if that's in here. Chimera Tech. There we go. Mega Fleet. I don't think you need to Mega Fleet anybody anytime soon. It's kind of like what I said about Vector Blast. I don't think you need to run this at the moment. Darkest Diabolos. It's another spicy kind of weird option back in the day that I actually used, since it contributes itself so you can clear off your main monster zone. And plus it can special summon itself through Ray's effect, because if it Ray's a dark monster, remember, and then you can dip for damage. Otherwise, I don't know, it's not that good either. Metal Foes alongside Foolish Burial Goods. It's a way to again dump spells into your graveyard, but I always draw the Metal Foes Fusion, so be aware. Plus we have 2 engaged now, so I don't think you really need to do that. Next we have Kaiser Coliseum. I know it's a meme thing where you play 1 card, but I don't know. It's Master Duel format, right? It's best of 1. Not everybody's running back row removal. Maybe you can get like a free win here and there against some poor bastard. Otherwise, I don't know. Must be fun poking your opponent 6 times with your Hayate, right? Or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Then we have Double or Nothing package. That's if you, I guess, are low and can't get access code Celine. You would basically have to run this brick, and then you can OTK your opponent using Utopia Doubles effect, which would then you can activate that and then special summon a Utopia, attack for game. That's another cheap option. I personally don't like it, nor do I think you need it, because access code is way better. And plus I keep drawing this, just like I keep drawing that. And finally another Flight Gate maybe. That'll probably come into place if Sword Soul or other combo decks that use multiple, types, or use the same type, sorry. Think Rivalry. There can be only one is a good choice because, you kind of doesn't really hurt you, but it's not exactly great for you too. So yeah, these are some tech cards you probably keep in mind if you want to be like, I want to be all unique and stuff. Keep that in mind. Alright gang, and I'm back here with how to play Skystriker. I'll be walking through how to, I guess, navigate, what I'm thinking, my thought process, why I made the decisions. Could be a couple misplays here and there, but we'll see what happens, right? I won't say whether or not I win or lose. I just have to hope. So here is my draw, and as we can see, it is pretty bad. Pretty bad. Also, I think I'm going second. Yep. He's gonna summon an Alistair, and it looks like we're probably playing Shaddoll Invoked, Shaddoll Dogmatika, whatever it's called. He's gonna pop off. We're gonna go shift because I have nothing to respond against anyways. He's gonna pop off. Absolutely pop off. Oh, also this is in Plat, by the way. So, could either be really good or really bad. Who knows? He's gonna send Shaddolls, do Construct, he's gonna summon the Beast. He's gonna do that, Squall Mana, send Trap, send Schism, he's gonna do Gravity Controller, I guess. Not too sure actually. He's got Invocation, there we go. Where's Machaba? There's Machaba. He's gonna summon Machaba and use Invocation's effect to add back the Alistair. So we know he has an Alistair in hand. This is probably a Schism, I assume. And we'll see, we'll go from there. Alright. So I'm gonna draw for turn. We'll see what I draw. And Widow Anchor. Alright, awesome. Widow Anchor is good. That means we can at least maybe negate this. We can potentially destroy it. We'll see what happens. Alright. So let's see what I decided up doing. So I'm gonna maneuver. Try to destroy and bait out. See if he has any spells to bait it out. See what he does. He's gonna activate Schism. He's gonna probably, if I remember correctly, he's gonna try to summon Winda, lock me out of special summoning. Gonna summon try to special summon a Winda to screw me over. I have a Cyclone, so I think I'm gonna chain Cyclone, yeah. And since he didn't negate it, he didn't have an opportunity to negate it or whatever, he's gonna, I guess, not do anything, and then everything's gonna go through. So I'm gonna banish that. That can't be on field, so it can't resolve. He's gonna get rid of Mechaba. All right, now this is pretty manageable, right? He's down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is card advantage, right? I have 2 useless cards, 1 useful card. But remember, Ray herself is like a +1 at least. So we have 2 spells in grave. I'm gonna, he's gonna maxi me. I'm gonna chain. So now he has an Alistair in hand. We don't know what that is. Let's chain that. And then we're gonna summon, if I remember correctly, Hayate, because Hayate is very important, right? You want to go to graveyard. We only have 2 more, right? We get 1 more, we're in business. This is in business, the mind control part. All right, so I'm gonna attack. I don't want to attack that because I really want to make sure this attack declaration goes through. If I attack that, he's gonna use the effect, and he's gonna basically, compulsory evacuation device my Hayate. Sure, I can get the Ray back, tribute effect, do it again, but I really want to fill up this graveyard with 3 spells. Alright, so attack for 65. Also, like many times, this is starting to get a little dangerous for him because of this guy, right? This guy is going to be like 53 or something like that with Celine effect, and then, that's basically game. Alright, you want to send Area 0. Remember, you want to send like your useless spells first, so like Area 0, Ego Booster, and then like the utility cards in that order. Alright, of course send Ray or Rose if you want to, especially if you're playing the mirror. That's very important. So I'm gonna go to main phase 2. I'm decided to set that as bait potentially, or just disruption, and then pass turn, because I don't want to give him any cards. We know he only has an Alistair, right? We can negate the Alistair with the Widow Anchor. Sure, he can flip what? Shaddoll Beast? Where is it? Shaddoll Beast. So he can flip it to draw 2 cards, right? And discard a card. I'll take that risk. That's fine. Alright. So he's going to draw 1. We know he has an Alistair. He's going to do that to draw 2 cards. He's going to pitch Shaddoll Aerial, and that's going to banish 3 of my graveyards. So he's gonna banish like 3 cards probably. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Not looking good, boys. Now we're down to 1 spell. He's gonna Alistair. I have to negate that because he has no response to it. Alright. Now he's down to 1. If he was playing, the Link Alistair, I think I would be screwed. But I'm not sure if Invoke Shaddoll Dogmatika people are playing that anymore. He's gonna Link Summon. He's gonna make Verte Anaconda. Oh yeah, that card. Usually Dragoon's banned. You can also use that with DPE. Maybe I'll mention that later. Now, this is a pretty cool play, I gotta admit. He's gonna do that. Just change that to dark, I think, and then he's gonna Super Poly into starting Venom Fusion Drag. So not only do I not, well, I mean, it was banished anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He's gonna attack me for damage. Ugh. Oh no. Alright. Then draw a turn. Lucky. Oh, well, that's kind of bad, right? I can only really search a rose. But hey, 3 spells a grave, right? We're in business. We're in business. 3 graves. Remember, we know that Alistair. Oh, wait, never mind. He linked some of the Alistair. So we know 2 cards in hand. I have no idea what they could be. It could be hand traps. Who knows? We'll see if we can bait out Nash. He did not. All right. So he probably doesn't have a Nash. Or he has a Droll instead. Well, that's fine. Droll hurts you, right? Droll hurts you, but remember, it doesn't prevent you from adding cards from your graveyard to your hand. So what I'm probably going to do is, yeah, summon Hayate. There we go. That's fine. Can't end phase Shizuku search. He's going to activate punishment. He's going to target this. He doesn't want me to add the engage or whatever probably into the graveyard so I can get it back with my Kagari. So he's going to do that. Destroy. Ray effect. He's going to use Apokalon. I think he's going to add Shaddoll Fusion probably. Does he add the fusion? Let's check. Yes, he has the fusion, but he can't really use the secondary effect. The deck, from the deck effect, because he has 2 monsters on board. So we know. Oh, he had Ecclesia, so we know for sure this is a Shaddoll Fusion. Also, keep in mind to remember what your opponent has. Right, it's very helpful. Use this. Do that. Summon a Raven Grave. I'm going to summon Kaina. The reason why I summon Kaina is because I want to prevent him from, basically killing me next turn. So I decide to Kaina anyways to, I think, prevent and target the, Starving Venom Fusion. And then I do that. Remember Rose's effect. To do that. Alright. Then I'm going to summon a Zeke. Zeke is going to target Beast. Now you could make the argument, why don't you just do that one? Why don't you just do that one? You will see in a couple of seconds. Because, if this goes to grave, a card effect, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it's banish that. Because I don't want him to have a Shaddoll name on board. He's going to, what if he draws a Shaddoll Fusion? He could potentially screw me, right? Because remember, he has, what if he draws like another Shaddoll monster? He has Shaddoll Fusion in his hand. Don't want to give him that opportunity, right? Summon Zeke. Gonna make a Kagari. I'm going to add back the Widow Anchor, right? Gonna add back the Widow Anchor. Right? So now how many spells do we have? We have 2 spells. 2 spells in grave. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna make Shizuku to at least lower the damage and set that. So at least we have like an effect negation in case he draws like Alistair or something dumb. He doesn't? Cool. Remember, don't attack this. If you attack this, I'm just going to tag out. I'm going to summon another Shizuku, and then I'm just going to search engage. So don't do that. Don't take the bait. Right? His thing comes back. There we go. We got Hornet Drones, which isn't that bad of a draw, actually. You'll see why. I'm going to activate that to summon the token. And this is why I love having 2 Zeke. 2 Zeke. You're going to banish the Shaddoll Dragon again for a turn. And since, remember, Hornet Drones, that's 1. And that's 2. And a 3. Now you take control, and it's game from here. 15. 28. 300. And there you go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And if I got the Shaddoll Dragon instead, he'd probably be still alive. I don't know. I don't know how to do math. There you go, boys. That's 1. Hello, YouTube, and we're coming back with another replay. As we see from our opening hand, I have Effect Veiler, Ash, Maneuver, Multi-Roll, and Imperm. And I believe he is going first. He's making us go first. Okay. It's pretty bad because we don't have a way to Ray. But we have at least 3 forms of disruption, so we'll see how that goes. Gonna activate Terraforming, and he's gonna search for Area 0. Alright, we're playing a mirror match. He's gonna summon Ray. Uses Ray as effect to tribute to summon Hayate for some reason. Okay. He's gonna then summon Rose. Gonna use that to use his pot of duality effect, targeting Rose. He could have done that on the Ray for some reason, but you know, it's also a good idea to get Rose immediately into the grave. But I don't think he knows I'm playing Striker at the moment, so I don't know why he did that. He draws engage, of course. Opponent always draws the engage. Alright, sends that to grave. He's gonna attack me for 15. And then he's using the effect to send Hornet Drones. Alright. Then he's gonna special summon to Shizuku. Normal play, normal play. Alright, end phase. And then he's gonna activate effect. I'm gonna use some permanents. I know there's an argument where you can use effect wheeler or ash, but I want to save this for engage. This I probably want to save for a, you know, like a Kagari effect. And I want to make sure, like, we're already behind, right? He already has a body on board. He has duality. We know he has an engage. I want to make sure this goes off for sure. He can't negate my effect veiler with like a, you know, call by the grave, which is pretty popular. He could, you know, and if he has the ego booster, he has the ego booster. So negate that. That goes through. Alright. So that happens. Alright. I draw a turn. Please draw a Ray. I do draw a Ray. That's good. I summon Ray. He's gonna dare me to do the maxi. I would chain Ray to quick effect so he doesn't get the draw off. Summon Hayate. I'm gonna enter battle immediately, attack, and I'm going to send area 0. So right now we only have one spell. We just got maxi, so we know he has an engage and 2 other potential cards. Alright, so you know there's an argument, oh, why didn't you just Shizuku? You can get the engage. Well, we already know he's engaged, right? And again, Striker, the more cards you get, the worse time you're gonna have, right? So we're playing a mirror match. It's okay, he can't really LTK me at this moment, I think. So that's that. And main phase 1, he's gonna activate engage. We have the Ash, right? And we're gonna have the Veiler if he decides to Kagari. That's that. So Kagari, there we go. Cool animation. He's gonna activate the effect. We're gonna Veiler him. There we go. So now he can't search engage Alpha Shizuku. He's gonna do that. And Shizuku, for some reason, he's gonna attack me, sure. I'm gonna activate his effect, send Rose, just in case. Activates Ray effect. Now normally in real life, you can activate Rose's effect to negate Ray, but for some reason he didn't, so I'm not sure if that's exactly a bug or not. But yeah, he did kill it in the extra monster zone. He should be able to negate my Ray upon summon, but he didn't. I don't know why. He's gonna summon Kagari. Summon Kagari to at least add back my area 0. Hopefully search something good, because I'm kind of desperate. I know I could have maybe summoned what, you know, Hayate, but it would have died anyways. So to summon Kaina to maybe potentially stop a turn, but I felt it was more worth it because we at least get our Ray back from multi-roll and area 0. So he's gonna attack that, fine. He's gonna do that again. He's gonna search Maxi. He's gonna get afterburners. He's gonna link it off, or it goes to grave. He's gonna return all his stuff back, which is not good for us. So now he has another Kagari, and he sets 1. All right, searching Shark Cannon. All right, so now we know. I mean, he could have chained that to banish my Ray, I guess, or Kagari. But then he can't even special summon it. Right, but he could. I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna draw a Rose. That's another name. Good. Summon that to bait that out, whatever that is, and it's a Woodwanker. Good. And then I'm gonna activate that. I'm gonna send that. Multi-roll effect. Target that. Summon that. And then we're gonna make Hayate. And here's the moment where you can arguably probably think about whether or not I did misplay. I send Widow Anchor because I want to set that. And this is the point where I think about, maybe I did misplay. Because if you notice, right, I'm gonna make Zeke. I could have targeted to banish this, but then he's gonna get his Ray effect, right? I thought about like, no, if I do that, but then I could get my own Rose. So I decided, you know what, it's not worth it because there's no way I can get rid of Rose anyways. It's kind of a misplay. I don't think it really matters. I got a Rose Engrave. It'll come back, maybe. You know. Set Widow Anchor. I'm gonna search for that. Use its effect to banish his Ray at least. But he has like 6 cards. Pretty tough. This is gonna pop off. I have no way to negate it. The only way I have is I have to use that. So take control of that. So we know he still has a Shark Cannon. Destroys my multi-roll too. He's gonna banish it. Yep. He's gonna summon Shituku. He's gonna pot Desires, because why not? It's 4 cards in hand. Multi-roll 2. So I'm kind of screwed. He's gonna have the Ash, and that's basically it. I think this is when I basically decide it's over. Yep. GG, boys. Sometimes you can't win, man. You get max seed. Yeah, sucks. You can only do the best you can, you know. It's just best of 1. Whatever. Not a big deal. Alright. We'll move on to the next one, or if not, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more content.